Francis, thank you so much for joining me here at the beautiful Red Rock Resort and Casino. I know that you're taking time out of your busy schedule as you prepare for UFC 270, so thanks for being here.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me here. You know, now it's a privilege to be sitting down with you, basically in the suite like this, big time stuff, you know. So I couldn't say no to come here. And by the way, if after this you want somebody to stay here and keep the place, I'll be willing to.
Okay, we'll let them know. It's very selfless of you, Francis. It's, of course, our honor to talk to the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. And before we talk about the fight you have upcoming on January 22nd at UFC 270, I want to go back. And I want to talk about the night in March when you won the UFC world title. All of your dreams became your reality. I'm curious, from that night at UFC 260, what do you remember the most?
What I remember the most of March 27th of this year, I think the most is like when I was in the locker room and then was getting ready for the fight, warming up, and was just, at some point he just hit me like a rock, you know, like, oh, they are all in Africa, in Cameroon, like waiting, looking at you right now. They are watching, they are all set up to watch the fight. It's like 4 a.m. there, and I'm like, damn, I'm not just fighting for me, you know. And from there, at every moment, I was like just thinking of how they're gonna be seeing things in Africa. And after the fight, obviously, I was so happy because that was like what I have always wanted. You know, it was my own way to pay my due, to gain my, to have my revenge of my past, of my childhood, and I was very happy about that. But you know, needed to share that moment. It was so big, like for myself. I couldn't feel it, so I started to make phone calls. Obviously, I had to go backstage, interview after interviews, but trying to between that, like making calls, like people that I know, like family, like my mom, my sister, people that I know that have been around, all around along the way since maybe I was a child or start to dream, you know. Calling them, I'm like, can you believe this? I made it, you know. He was cool, like, I'd done it, you know, yeah.
You certainly did. You know, when you envision people in Cameroon watching you and your loved ones, is that pressure or is it a good thing for you?
Well, there is a pressure about it, but it's also a good thing, you know. Remember, all this started for me to wanted to be noticed, you know. Didn't want to be that kid that was a subject of shame all the time. Didn't want to be that kid who was all the time embarrassed by other or by his situation that he wasn't guilty about it, you know. So I wanted to be noticed in the positive way. So yes, I mean, when you get at that level, you realize that you're being noticed, even though that puts some pressure on you. But, you know, it's a good pressure. That means you're doing good. You're having that pressure because you're doing good, not because you're doing bad. So, yes, you take whatever comes with it.
That's a really good way to look at it. When you went back to Cameroon, we only saw videos, and it looked incredible. What was that experience like?
Well, I think that experience was even more than winning the title itself. You know, like basically, like when you go there, when I went there during the parade and the celebration, I could have related to all those faces. Like there was thousands of them, and I felt like I know every single one of them, even those that I never see them in my life. they look very familiar because I could feel their energy, I could feel their dream, I could feel their proud and all those stuff. He was just something amazing, you know, beyond amazing. I don't know how to describe that moment, but and because the majority of these people, they could have relate, they could have relate to my situation. You know, we came from almost the same situation. We have almost the same challenges in life, and I finally proved it. Like, doesn't matter how he started. Most important is how he finished. You know, is the end line.
For a lot of people who maybe didn't know your story, they found it out during that pay-per-view, and they learned about your journey and how difficult it was for you to get to that point, but your endurance and your perseverance to never give up on your dreams inspired not just your own home country or your home continent of Africa, but everyone around the world. I mean, for you, did you notice a change after you became champion and your story was really out there in the way people spoke to you or kind of talked to you about your inspiration?
Yeah, even before I became the champion, like I started to feel that coming. You know, people who started like appreciate what I'm doing, be proud, people who can relate about it, and who are even inspired by my story. Who, for me, is just my story. Because there is a ton of people out there, basically in Africa, who has the same story, but they are not lucky enough to be on the big screen as me. And that's why I think we have to do something, you know, to give an opportunity to people out there who have the same struggle and even a better story, who have a good skill, but they don't have a opportunity to show that.
What do you think your accomplishments as becoming the UFC world champion does for the people of Cameroon in the sport of MMA, but just in general?
I mean, he definitely does help at some point, but what I think is more valuable in my asset is not, I mean, as much as I enjoy and love being the UFC heavyweight champion, I don't think that's the exact same thing, the only thing that makes me inspire somebody, you know, or that's not even the thing that I'm most proud of. I get my proud of never give up, you know, regardless the situation. Doesn't matter the beginning, the odds that I've been through, and never give up the fight that I've been fighting. Keep it up regardless, you know. So I think the relentlessness and all those stuff, I think this is for me the most important thing, and this is something that everybody can have. You don't need to be the UFC heavyweight champion to have those stuff. You can have that and implement it in your life. Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're a lawyer or your dream is to become a journalist or a good hand worker. You know, you can have all those assets and then give inspiration to someone. You know, I go home, I go back in Africa today, and I will see some people who just like, they think they are so good at what they are doing, even though they don't think it's big enough, you know, but I can see the outside of it and appreciate it and get inspired by them, you know, how they raise their family, how they build their life, how they work hard to provide to their family, even though they are struggling, you know, but the input, the perseverance that they have, the motivation that they have, you know, those are always something that can inspire you from somebody.
What a beautiful way to look at it. I feel like I want to take everything you just said and like put it on my phone so I can listen to it while I drive, because I'm feeling inspired just listening to you. But Francis, I mean, I love everything you just said, but I'm curious, you know, there is something special about being the UFC heavyweight world champion. For
Absolutely.
you, when did you first feel like the champ? Was it when the belt was put around your waist? Was it when you went
Definitely
back home?
not.
Oh.
No, I mean, it kind of like take time to feel that. And I don't know if at some point I truly feel that, you know, even though I'm happy, I don't feel that. I remember like after the fight, I went back home, and the next the next day, um, I didn't even have dinner. You know, my dinner was a cereal with a some sort of like a um, I think it was like a plant-based milk that my chef left in the fridge, and I couldn't order something on my Uber Eat or DoorDash or something, and I was so exhausted I didn't want to go out. Was trying to figure out those apps to like order in food. I didn't have any of that, and find myself with some sort of like a granola with this milk that I have to take as a dinner. That was my first dinner as a champ, and you know, and for the next days, during like the next weeks, I wasn't really realizing. I was sleeping at some time, like, I'm a UFC heavy champion, right? I am. Then I'm like, yeah, I have a belt. Then I wake up and go out there and check. I'm like, yes, it's the belt, so I'm the champ, you know. So I wasn't like, it wasn't like it wasn't real. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Then what next? This is it? No, this is not it. Yeah, this is one step. What next? You know. So that was kind of like a weird stuff. But I was very happy, you know, for the accomplishment, just as a fight, just as something, for something that I laid my lay my eye on, and like do whatever it takes to get it.
I absolutely love the visual of you with the belt, just eating some cereal at home after you win. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But you just said, you know, a part of your thought process there was what's next. So I'm curious to hear how this next part played out. You know, you're the champion, you win the belt in March, and you know you're going to defend the title at some point. So when did you expect to defend the title, and what really was that whole process like of this interim bout being booked? I mean, for you, can you explain it in your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said that night, my expectation was to defend the title by the end of July or August. So basically in summer. But things didn't play out as I wanted. So I just sit and wait and see what's happened.
Were you surprised when they made the fight with Ciryl and Derek Lewis?
Yeah, I will be. I mean, seeing how things were going, you kind of like. I was surprised about that fight, but I kind of like just laugh about it because I'm like, I knew that it could happen, and he was just a low play, you know. Yeah.
What did you think about the fight itself?
The fight itself was good. It was a good fight, good matchup, and the two fighter was like, I mean, everyone in that position would have been happy to take the opportunity, you know. And it was a great fight. Don't get me wrong. The only thing that I find that wasn't legit was just to have the interim title at that moment, just to apply pressure, you know, just for a power position, not because it's the right thing to do at that moment, because I was there and obviously was willing to fight, and you know, wasn't hurt, was good. So yeah, that was my only problem with that fight. But other than that, the fight itself was a good fight.
I mean, that's understandable. So you win the title in March, the end of March. They fight in August, and now you unify the title on January 22nd in Anaheim, California. That timeline, would you have liked to have been more active than really taking all of those months off before your first, we'll call this a title defense, even though it's a title unification?
Yeah, I take some time off, you know, basically after the fight. I think I took like 1 month off, 2 months. Then came back, trained, and you know, time to time I have to go visit my family because all my family, they are in Africa, but always stay, trying to stay in shape, you know, keep working and be prepared in case something come up around the corner.
Well, now we know. You're fighting Ciryl Gane, January 22nd.
Yeah.
You're going to unify the titles here. I'm curious.
I'm gonna defend the title.
There
There's
you
no
go.
unification.
There you go.
I recognize only one title, which is mine, the undisputed one. I don't legitimize the interim title at all. As far as I'm concerned, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, if that's your outlook, rightfully so. When you look at Ciryl, though, as an opponent, you know him well. You guys have trained together. What do you see from him, and what challenges do you believe he brings to the table?
Well, I see that he's a good fighter. He's very light on his feet. He's very good at keeping distance, and which is something that in the heavyweight division you don't find, you don't see very often, you know, and to have trained with him because in the past, I think it was in January 2019. Yes, we kind of like trained for a few weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. So about 7 to 10 times, something like that, you know. But right at that moment, I'd noticed all his skills, all these special skills that he has amongst other heavyweight, you know, something that he outstanded other heavyweights with, which is like his movement, the lightness on his feet and all those stuff. But listen, I've been in this game since, and as far as I might not be light on my foot as him, but as far as footwork and cage control, I'm good at it, so it doesn't matter. You know, he won't be on the football field. He will just be in the octagon, and I know pretty good how to make those big octagon look small for somebody.
You certainly do. So you guys didn't spend years training together.
No. Don't listen to what they've been saying. I was on my way from Cameroon to Las Vegas, but I cut short by the time because I have the Ken Velasquez fight during the Christmas, and I was in Cameroon after Curtis Blade in China. So I was about to come to Vegas and set up my training camp. But since I had that fight, and the fight was like 7 weeks away, I didn't have time to come back because I've been out of the state for like 6 months. So I had to come back and get everything ready. By the time things would be ready to roll, he would have been late to start the training camp. So I stopped in France, and that was in January 2019. That's when I had a chance to train with Ciryl. And I was there for 1 month. He was getting ready for his fight. So we met at the gym a few times and trained, and that was it. You know, we didn't spend years or even months training together, and we met at the gym a couple times and greet each other and go there, train, and after that, everybody go his way.
But you had a history with the MMA factory in Paris.
Yeah.
What caused you to no longer want to train there and want to train here in Las Vegas?
Well, I wanted the change. I wanted to get ready for the big time. I want to be to move. Not only I wanted to be in the U.S., which has always been my dream, but also I want to upgrade my game. You know, get ready and learn more, have more experience in the game, which is what I believe that I have done.
Absolutely. But you were training with Ferdinand Lopez.
Yeah.
And now he's Cyryl's head coach.
Yeah.
What's the relationship there? And
Oh, the relationship there is not good at all. I mean, as far as I know, because I have been listening to Ferdinand in the past 2 years, and I figured that he's not good at all.
Did you know that before you heard these interviews? I mean, did you guys think you were okay?
At some point, I thought we were okay because I always like get things done, like let's say in the fair way. And I think by the moment that I really, because even when I was in Vegas, I was still like friendly, connected to him. you know, and that's why like sometimes I will ask him to like come to my corner, even though I wasn't in his gym anymore.
Yeah.
You know, just as a friend. But obviously that wasn't enough, and so many things was on his mind, and I couldn't bring a solution to that. And then I found out that couple years ago, you know, but I couldn't do anything about it. The way that he's approaching it is like, I mean, I won't say I'm surprised knowing the person, you know. I always knew that something like this might come from him. Like I was in Paris 3 years ago after the Derek Lewis fight, and I was dealing with some personal stuff on my end. I was so in the bad place that I decided to see a psychiatric, you know, and if you look at this psychiatric notes, it's funny because like even 3 years ago, she pointed out Fernan as a problem to wash out, and I thought she was like crazy, and she started break it down and put it on the note, you know, but now I think she was all right.
He seems to think maybe he has the antidote for whatever you possess. He knows you as a fighter. He thinks he can train his athlete to beat you. What's your perspective on that? Are you a totally different fighter from when you worked with him? I mean, what is your outlook on his thinking he understands you and can defeat you?
Well, I think it's the opposite because I think I know him pretty good, you know, and from what happened since we weren't together, you know, I don't think he knows anything about me. I think I'm like very complete different fighter on top of what he knows about me. I know something else which is way more bigger than what he knows about me. But I know everything about him. So I don't think this is an issue. You know, I literally like can think as him and know what is his game plan. You know, I can get in his mind and like visualize what exactly he's working on, you know, because I know the man, I know how he thinks, but more than he might even imagine.
Do you think he's aware of that? Do you think he knows, like, Francis might be onto me more than I am onto him?
No, I think his ego won't let him think that. You know, when you think that you're so great, you're the best, you're smarter, you're everything, you can't see something coming. You know, just being like taking slow, then you will realize that. You know, so that's why I kind of like know why he's doing what he, because I mean he's never wrong, you know. It doesn't matter what is the circumstances, which is why exactly I know that this is gonna happen.
What do you think about him coaching Ciryl?
That's their business, you know. I move on, you know. And which is part of life, you know. Sometimes you just have to move on for your own reason, for your own sake, and people who truly care about you will just bless you and wish you the best, you know. We all came from a family, from a parent that give us life, and at some point we have to leave those family, not because we don't like them, but because we have to follow our own path, you know. Even though he hurts our parents the most, they have to accept that because that's how life is going. And that doesn't mean you don't like them, and doesn't matter the circumstances. Sometimes even when you leave, you might realize how much you might even appreciate them most, you know. That's just life. So I have to move on. And what I think is that he should move on. Lucky him, he has some guy now, which is good. He should be grateful for that and move on with his life. Make a peace with himself. Live peaceful. That's all what it's about, you know. Today I'm very happy. I'm surrounded by great people, you know. I finally found what it feels like to be with people around that you are not constantly fight them. People that you know for a fact that they have your back. people that you know that they are your ride or die, know people that support the win, people that take credit for the win, and send you guilty for the loss. I mean, I find my peace. Maybe he should find his own peace, and that's the only way that he's gonna be happy. Is be honest with himself and find his own peace.
You have peace and happiness here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I see you at Extreme Couture. I see you at the Performance Institute. When did you know that Las Vegas was the place for you to be, both professionally and personally?
Well, when I decided to move here, like 4.5 years ago, I was debating mostly between Los Angeles and some place else. Las Vegas wasn't even on an option at that time until like, at that time. But at that time, I needed help with whatever I'm doing, whether it's like I couldn't read English pretty good, I couldn't speak, didn't know the system here, so I kind of like need some place with help, and they recommended me Las Vegas. So I came here the first time, I think it was for the UFC 209 back in April 2017, and I kind of like love Las Vegas, so I decided that I'm gonna give it a try. Then when I came here, I was welcome, and people was just all around being nice with me, trying to help me to like accommodate with everything. And since then, I just feel like this is home. I mean, he kind of like took me time to like get to some gym, because I didn't want the drama with fighter and gym anymore. I didn't want to put myself in that position anymore. But which wasn't the best thing to do, because I hold myself from giving people around me an opportunity to help me, and that's why like when came the moment when I have to fight Stipe, I was out of option, and I was obligated 3 weeks after the fight to go back to France, because I was here, but I didn't give myself a chance to surround myself with people here, So then after that, I made a resolution, I put it together, and I find everything perfectly. Personally, professionally, I find myself with people that I like them to be by my side, people that I'm happy to have them by my side. So since then, everything has been rolling pretty good.
What do you like the most about Extreme Couture and coaches like Eric Nixick?
Let's be honest. First of all, I like Extreme Couture because fighters around the world can just travel and just show up in the gym. They don't have obligation or to fill up some sort of staff to come there. So it makes the gym more open to have different fighters, different sparring partners, But the reason why I'm there is, I think it's just about my relation with Eric Nixick, because I felt a good energy with him when I had him on my corner when I fought Junior Dos Santos, So since then, I just decided to like work with him, because I think all this fighting stuff is all about energy. Personally, I think like the mental part of this game is more important than anything else. You might go to the gym, be in the best shape ever, have the best techniques ever, but if you're not in your right mind, if you're not in your best mental health, you will fight as shit, and that's what happened to me with Derek Lewis. I think that was like my best training camp ever, and then who led me to a worst fight ever, so I understood that, then I move on with this resolution. So everywhere that I am, and I feel like comfortable, that I know I have like a fighting instinct. Doesn't matter which kind of training I have, I will be fighting if I'm straight in my mind. And not to mention that I'm having a good training partner, a good training, since we can understand each other. This is the only way that in my opinion, is the best to like achieve and improve as a fighter.
Yeah.
Because fighter is not just about hitting bad or doing techniques or blah 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 blah. It's about the environment that you're in, the mindset when that you're in when you're working on that iron, you know, the thermopile. That's how I call it. You know, am I safe here? Am I good? People around me are those who I want? Yes, I'm good to go. We are in this together. Let's go.
And it seems like you have a family too. Like, it seems like you're at Eric's house sometimes for dinners, and you're very close with his young son Knox. And it's nice to see, because those of us who know you're a sweet guy, but you're the heavyweight world champion. You're the baddest man on the planet. But yet here you are, like, still being able to have this family atmosphere. How important is that for you?
It's very important because you know, a couple years ago, like. Eric used to be Noxie's best friend, and we started to hang out, and he started to ask like, Noxie, who is your best friend? And Noxie would look down and like, Francis, like it's not you anymore, that, you know. So for a 3 years old kid, that's so sweet. That's something, you know, like he has a personal. That means something very important, and I just like playing with him, and it makes him feel good. Like he walks around at home, and his sisters, they can't talk to him anymore. He will tell them, I'm famous, you know, I'm Francis' friend, I'm this, you know. So yeah, it's good to be around, and also have a family face around, you know, people that you feel you treat them as a family, because yes, as I said, all this is about like relationship and how I feel about Eric, and that's why like I consider him as a brother.
Yeah, and you've made this environment. You have the right people around you. You've accomplished your dream of securing the belt. Now you're going to go out there and defend your belt. What do you believe people will see from you at UFC 270?
Oh, UFC 270? I think I'm up to something. I'm cooking something that I'm gonna surprise people with. They think they have seen a lot of my toy, but of my tool, and I'm coming up with something. You know, having those short fights never like really give me an opportunity to showcase what I'm capable of, and I think this might be the opportunity, and I'm getting ready for that. January 22nd. You know, it's gonna be like a complete different fighter in the best way. You know. Obviously, the power is still going to be there. I won't take that off. You know, it's a good thing to always have in your pocket, you know, in case you need it. Because even though I wanted like to really put some show there, I won't say no to a knockout, even if he comes in the first minute. So, January 22nd. You're going to understand why I'm the champ, why I'm here, why I came from my small village, Bati, go all to these challenges to be here. That means I have something special. And on January 22nd, that's when I'm going to prove it. You know, you don't just make it there year randomly. I wasn't like selected as a champ. I wasn't elected as a champ. I wasn't nominated as a champ. I earned it, making my way out there. Whether they like it or not, I did it, I earned it, I owned it, you know. And I'm gonna prove it, because sometimes the saying might want to take you down and take the credit of whatever you have done, but you have to be strong enough to keep your mind to yourself and to remember why you're here, to remember what has always been your motivation, to see what you have been able to accomplish, and to realize that all this is happening because you're good, because of you. And if you're good, that means you can do something that they are not expecting you to, you know. And basically, when it's just to do what you have been doing, fighting. You know, I might just been knowing MMA for 8 years now, but I've been fighting my whole life. You know, my whole life has been a fight in a different way, in the different field. He has always been a fight. And on January 22nd, I'm gonna put everything there and bring the whole package in that arena and put a show on.
Oh my gosh, Francis, we cannot wait. UFC 270 in Anaheim, California. Best of luck to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Megan, for having me here one more time again. I appreciate it.